let's kick it off. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining us for another Q-Tip session. My name is David Strausser. I'm sales here at Quaint Business Solutions. And for those of you who do not know who Quaint is an SAP Business One provider who values excellence in customer service as well as knowledge of the SAP Business One application. Part of what we do at Quaint is ensure we are showcasing the great features within the SAP B1 application and helping to empower our clients and others to use the system to its fullest capabilities. Today, we are featuring some SAP tips and tricks with the Boyum Dashboards and B1UP with Quaint's very own Deb Bowen. Thank you all for walking us through all of this out-of-the-box functionality of the Boyum Dashboards and B1UP tips. And whenever you're ready, Deb, I'll let you take it from here.
Great. Thank you, David. I'm going to try to match David's enthusiasm here. We'll see how that goes. Everybody, welcome
and you
aboard.
have Teams open down there in the bottom as well.
No, I do not.
Oh, no, you don't. Not anymore. Not anymore.
Okay. Wait a minute. I'm going to say, wait a minute. Welcome. And we are going to be talking a lot about the dashboards here. Let me make sure here we're going to be, hey, what is the Boyum Usability Package, Boyum Dashboards? And if we've got time, go through the new modern authentication versus the old basic authentication with print and delivery, and then do a quick Q&A session. We're not going to touch everything in dashboards in the time that we have today. I want to give you an overview as to what can be done and how it can be done. And, maybe spark some ideas as to how to use the Boyum dashboards for yourselves. All right. So what is the Boyum Usability Package? The dashboards are just a component of the usability package, or B1UP, as everybody likes to call it. It's the ability to use the function or add function or buttons to windows to SAP forms. Item placement tool. Think of the UI templates on steroids on that. Mandatory fields. You can define which fields on an SAP form are mandatory. Default data. So if you say, hey, I want to create a business partner, what is the default data there that we can add? You can use add and edit menus. We can add items to menus. We can add processes. Quick create and templates. Again, hey, we can do a quick create and create a template for entering, hey, I've got a service that I need to, a maintenance service versus a, some other kind, a wheel service. We can take a look because that may have different resources that it needs to pull and or items and stuff like that. There's a toolbox. We can make items read only. Right click creator, so we can right click menu. So if you right click on something, we can manipulate what the user is seeing there. There's the ability to do letter merges. There's the B1 search. We'll go a little bit into that with our dashboards. They have an exchange rates, PLD extensions, which is the really basic crystal reports layouts, recurring invoices. We're going to be talking about this B1 dashboard. And then they also have a Perfianus extension, which is their PIM tool that they have. That's the B1UP is available for that. We have a B1 validation. This says, hey, instead of just when you click on the update, add or update, and it goes through and does a block, it will actually do it. You can do it as the user's entering information. There's a lot of other different things that we can use with the validation. There's a master data manager, so we can go through and update mass amounts of records without having to use DTW, for example. And then the productivity here is the print and delivery. So there's a lot of things that we can do that it extends out to users, empower users of the system, that we don't have to get a development team involved with as well. So what is a Boyum dashboard? A dashboard is when this module is enabled, becomes the background of the client on the dash, as background of SAP. So instead of seeing a blank screen or a workflow menu there, you can see some of the dashboards that were created. So you have a visual effect. And in this case, the shows, hey, how has our sales been the last year? And then we have some common functions and our open list of items. Those are also widgets, but they are in a different realm. They are not data driven. Then we actually come up and say, hey, you're like, woo, this is really cool, as the SAP Business One client desktop background. Hey, that's really cool. Number one tip, always remember to enable it for the users, because that is a special enabled functionality, and to also check to see if they've hidden or unhid the dashboards. We'll go through that too. The B1, you can also schedule dashboard widgets to send emails or save to a file via schedule. And then that has to have the server component installed in order to do that. So you can say, hey, I want to send this report to a customer. That is absolutely or not to a customer, but to, maybe your sales team. You want to, hey, this is what our sales is looking at. That way they don't have to have the client in order to see that information. There is also a web page that you can configure. To install and configure, it requires IIS and an SSL certificate. It is only supported for desktops and tablets, no mobile devices. So that's kind of a big, and the dashboards need to be enabled and can't have parameters. So there's lots of limitations on the web page of this, but it is also something that can be taken a look at and configured if it meets your needs. All right, now we're going to get into the demonstration part of this, which is, let me make sure that I can get to where I need to get to do that here. So when we open up SAP Business One, you will see that we do have, hey, this is the sales dashboard. This is an out-of-the-box dashboard or view that we have that Boyum provides us. They have one for purchasing. It goes through and loads the dashboard. This gives you our purchases here. Finance also has one. Again, you can keep certain of these tabs authorized only to certain users as well. So that's a good part. And then we also have, if we take a look at our calendar function, this is the calendar. We can set up calendars within our Boyum to say, hey, we want to take a look at I want to look at my overview for everything here. And this gives me my weekly view. And I have this activity scheduled for today, the Boyum Dashboards and tips here. And I can actually just double click on this and it brings me up that activity right from the calendar. But we can configure some different selected calendars within Boyum so that we can do that. And we can have it, hey, maybe the sales teams has theirs and service the service and production has a different calendar that they want to take a look at. We also have the ability to have Kanban widgets. Basically, this is looking at all of our sales opportunities and where are they at in our cycle. Again, this is definable as to what we're looking at. So if we have a lead, or are we at a second meeting with the opportunity? It gives us, hey, what is our name, our customer name, our potential amount, or the value of our opportunity, who is actually working that deal as a sales employee, and the predicted close. So you can actually go through and see each one of these. Again, this is an overall view. We can actually set this up so that it is only viewing for that particular case, in this particular case, for that sales user as well. So all good stuff, lots of things to look at and to see here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to create a new view or tab here, because this is actually a widget that we can create. The common functions are things that is available for the sales team, since this is a sales function. If we go over to our purchase, we have common functions for our purchasing department, which is creating purchase orders, not sales orders type sort of thing. So we have that, but I am going to show you here. I'm going to add a new view. I'm going to go ahead and say sales. I have a pivot table here, and we can use the auto refresh. So this is actually defining how often we want to refresh that particular tab or view. Right now I have this disabled, but I do have one, the sales one actually refreshes every 5 minutes. And so if a new invoice gets created, it will, when it refreshes, it will automatically update for us. So I want to move this whole line up.
Just real quick, not to interrupt your flow, Deb, but just so you all know, this is live. Deb is not a robot, and it's not pre-recorded. So if you have any questions, please throw it into the Q&A, and we will be tackling those at the end. So don't forget about that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, David.
You're welcome, Deb.
So now I'm going to go ahead and add the sales pivot, or go to my sales pivot tab here. Now I get to add some widgets. I'm going to add a widget. These widgets have been defined already. If we want to edit them, we can, or we can create our own widgets as well. But I'm going to go ahead and click on my sales pivot items here, and I can say, I double click on it, and it's going to say, hey, here it is. Here's what this pivot table does. And you can actually see this actually shows us everything from last year and this year in our totals. And then it has a nice graph. Now, what you'll see is when I click on this graph and I click on just on the third quarter for 2025, it does update this pivot table here to show us only quarter 3, 2025. And as I expand this out, let's go back over in here. Now we just added quarter 4 of 2024 as well. So that is just showing us the different items here. Okay. Now, if for whatever reasons I don't wish to see my dashboards, I don't like them, I don't want them, there is a way to hide your dashboards, and it gives you a clean desktop. Maybe you're doing a training session and you don't want, your trainees to see that, then you can also do that, for that as well. But no, you just need to unhide it, and it will bring those dashboards back for you, for sure. All right. So, and for some reason, I must have clicked on my pivot table, and that went away. Here we go. Now I can share. I created this great sales pivot table for my team. I want to, transfer this to other users. So here it says, what's my source? This is my dashboard that I want to share, and I want to go ahead and share it with Bill here. And I can say execute, and it says successful. So now if I come over, and I'm Bill, I've logged in as Bill here, I am going to reload my views. And you can see I have the sales pivot table now. But, choose what dashboard to show instead. I don't have permission to see that dashboard. Well, what that means is Jason forgot to add me to be able to look at that wizard or that widget. So I am going to go ahead and edit my widgets. Here is that sales pivot item, and we can see that it is only accessible to the manager user. So here we have our include users settings, and since we have someone listed, it's the only person that has access to this is the manager or Jason. Now I can change that. I can log or double click on that, and then I can select other users within the system. I'll just click Bill, say update. So now when we go back over to Bill and we reload his views, we are still seeing that he doesn't have access. So let's go ahead and restart that add-on. It's thinking about it here. So now he will be able to see the sales pivot dashboard. So multiple places to look. Does he have access under admin? Oops, not here. Usability. When we say use the B1 dashboard, this little, the three dot button here, this says, hey, which users can I give dashboard access to? That's just the general functionality. Okay, didn't change anything. Then we also have our, Bill doesn't have the ability because Josh is a manager and has access to everything. The ability to say, hey, which users have access to this pivot table, to this pivot dashboard here. And then once we create the view, we can share that with him as well. Now, if I didn't know Bill's login, I can also impersonate Bill. So I can impersonate a user. Who do I want to see? I can say Bill. And basically that brings up the dashboard as Bill would see it here. So all good things. I can then choose when I get done saying, okay, I know he can see it. Everything looks good. I can click on impersonate and I go back to my view. So all is well and good. The other things that you can do with our dashboards here is we can actually determine some filters with our dashboards. In our service filter here, we have our service dashboard. We have filters that we can actually use to say, hey, show me all my pending service. We went from 20 calls to 4. And then this is showing what's my call type. No one has a defined call type. One of the 4 is a high priority. One of the 4 came in from the web. The other 3 came in versus the phone. And they all have no problem type associated. But I could further if I had a lot more data, I might want to say, okay, I know I have some with a high priority, so let's go ahead and show me all the ones that have just the high priority on that. So we can set up filters that will allow us to really refine what we are seeing for our data here.
Hey, Deb, just so you know, you're down to a little bit over 7 minutes left. And also a reminder, if you have any questions, please throw it in the Q&A and we will do our best to answer every question today, but we will get back to you. We cannot answer today.
So I wanted to, I'm just going to read my notes here. Oh, the other thing that you will see within the dashboards is the ability to do searches. So if I put in 1066, for example, I press enter, there is the old SAP search, and then there is the B1 search, usability search. This expands out our search functionality to be more like Google-ish, and it will actually show you, hey, that I have 1066 is actually showing up in all of these areas here. We can also say, what to include, what to exclude. Maybe I don't want to make sure that we don't have any payments. I want to include my customer, my contact people. Again, we can do search here. It goes out and search, make sure that we search these. We can have it say also any closed data. So if I have closed invoices, closed purchase orders, closed sales orders, that'll take those into an account as well with that. And if you only care about, hey, what's my data, you can do that. But if you're wanting to do the whole thing, we can control, you can use this B1 search, which is the Boyum, or we can control it with the search functionality underneath the dashboard under the general configuration. We can say, hey, I really want this to be the SAP search. Update that. I'll cancel this. So now if I type in 1066 and press enter, we get the good old, hey, this is what I'm used to seeing for our SAP search as well. So this gives us all the documents that have 1066 in it as well. If we're in the B1 search, we can Whoops, calendar. Maybe there's a menu item I need to search for because you don't remember how to get to it through all the menus. You can actually just type this in here and it will know, hey, this is a menu or a form that I need to bring up. So that will actually bring you up and show you all the calendar setup configurations here that are already predefined. Any questions that I can help you with?
Let's see what kind of questions we have out there. First off, Deb, I do have a question here as far as the dashboards and stuff like that. You are still able to limit visibility as far as like the KPIs, dashboard, stuff like that, for each user, correct?
Yes.
You can limit, I believe the question's asking, the heart of it is like basically you're able to micromanage what they see or don't see, correct?
Correct. Yes. So here we have the edit dashboard widgets. We can say only certain people will have access to the whole widget itself as well. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
And here is also the web enable. So if we wanted to have the web page deployed, this will show which ones we can have on that web page. Let's just take off.
When you say web page, are you speaking specifically about the web client, to be clear?
No, not the web client. It is the actual dashboard.
The actual dashboard.
Web. Web piece, yes.
Sorry, that was me just being confused.
That's fine.
Happens every now and then. Let's see. Can a user define a widget for the dashboard?
Yes. Well, you actually do the data part of the widget here. Let's go ahead. Let's just take a look at this. So let's just go to the sales one. Here, if we click edit, what that will do is it will launch the dashboard designer editor, and everything that you see, the widget is everything that you see here. So we could actually take some of these off, but we're actually seeing the data source behind these as well. So if we take a look, we can edit our query. We'd like to see that. See our query, what data is it pulling, where is it pulling it from as well. So if we go next, preview will actually give us, what did it find here? And you can create your own widgets and items that you want to display here. Does that make sense?
I believe that makes sense to me. And I also believe that's all the questions I have. I'm just refreshing the queue here. I don't see any other questions in here. I don't see anything else in the chat. Hey, regardless of anything, first off, thank you everybody for coming, for taking time out of your busy day to spend a half hour with us here at Quaint. We're so happy to have you here. Thank you so much, Deb, for sharing your knowledge and sharing everything that you showed us today. We really appreciate everybody being here. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn. Check our email announcements for the next product feature or other great things that are going on here at Quaint. I think we're going to have some good announcements coming out soon. Also, make sure to pop over to our website, quaintbusiness.com. Locate some of our amazing takeaway documents, other goodies from our resource pages. And once again, finally, thank you again for joining us today. And we'll see you all next time. Cheers.
All right. Thank you, guys.